Okay, this is a continuation here. I'll read back a little bit. Yeah, need to go back a little bit here. Okay, Daniel's talking. That contrary to what U.S. presidents were desperately trying to lead Americans to believe about Islam, Islam wasn't peaceful at all, far from the truth. Yeah, I'm going to go back even further. Oh, I bet, said Sally with wide eyes. Daniel went on and said, anyway, so Larry was the lead cleric toward the sub, that it caught the attention of the flash drive's then current owner, who felt safe enough with the sub to not only befriend him, but to actually dare let him know how he secretly felt about Islam, Allah, Israel, and, well, just about anything. But again, wouldn't dare let any of his fellow Muslim brethren know. I learned in reading Neville's journal that this Hamza, the Muslim name only with the flash drive, was thankful to the real God for bringing someone into his mosque who was terrified to death of asking questions about Islam to his fellow Muslims due to the fact that, well, at the time of his questioning, Neville had no inkling of just how dangerous Islam truly was. That such playful questioning on his part was like a baby walking into a lion's den and calling the lion cubs kitty cats, or like a blind man playing with a black mamba snake and not knowing there was such a thing as poisonous snakes. It was then that the Muslim in name only let Neville in on the truth about the fire he was unknowingly playing with. That contrary to what U.S. presidents were desperately trying to lead Americans to believe about Islam, Islam wasn't peaceful at all, far from the truth, and this Muslim in name only let him know that he had this special flash drive, giving it to him to make CDs with. Well, the sub made a bunch of CDs, and in the process got to study the giant who was on it. A giant it exposed in Islam. A giant he was familiar with on the internet. A giant known as the one and only Christian Prince. You're kidding, said shocked-looking Sally. Daniel smiled and said, it wasn't, well, yeah. Daniel smiled and said, it was the guy who, before being yanked off of YouTube for being a hater of Muslims, made videos that were rocking the world of any Muslim who came upon them. In the process, the sub found videos of Christian Prince that the internet had removed, but couldn't remove from the flash drive. Videos that really show the frightening side of Islam, of how it opens the world up to terror with Quran 929, 930, 939, 38, 939, and 911. Yeah, yeah, opens the terror with Quran 929, 30, 38, 39, and 911 that tells Muslims to kill and be killed in the cause of Allah. It was Quran 911 that inspired 9/11/01. No Quran 911, and the twin towers of the Trade Center would still be standing. Anyway, seeing these videos really rocked the sub's world and freaked him out to see the grave danger he was now in for this innocent, playful questioning of his mosque's scholars on Islam. Still, he stuck it out, tried to act calm, and went back to the mosque again and again, this time only asking them such fluffy things as, how's the best way to roast a goat? When he went back to the mosque to give the Hamza, the Muslim name only's flash drive, uh, when he went back to the mosque to give Hamza, the Muslim imam only's flash drive, back, well, guess what happened? What? Asked Sally with a look of fear. Hamza was nowhere to be found. And from reading further into Neville's journal, he was never seen again. Niles Neville thought the flash drive owner must have cracked under the pressure, and due to the happiness of finding someone who seemed open and would likely expose Islam further for him, might have ended up with a loose tongue. God, how creepy, Sally said, as if a chill had run down her spine. What do you think happened to him? I'm thinking he might have gone back to Pakistan, which seems to be code for he got Allahu Akbar from life. I mean, it seems that anyone who comes in contact with this flash drive and learns what it's all about meets a horrible fate or disappears. I too disappeared from my area where when I came in possession of it. Well, disappeared to my friends and family. Why? Asked Sally. Well, I took the flash drive card home with me, and in my spare time started seeing the videos of Neville and the videos of those who were before him, and in the process I learned a lot about Islam. At the time, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I knew Islam was a threat, but had no idea how much of a threat until I started getting death threats of my own. Death threats? The shocked Sally asked. How? Well, the videos of Neville and the ones who were before him were very educational. They were great teachers of Islam. After a month of studying all those videos, man, I was so convinced that Islam was a huge threat to world peace that I started making videos of my own, putting them on YouTube to question and challenge Muslims in the hopes I'd get them thinking enough to the point where they'd start doubting Islam. So when Sharia was imposed in America, they may not be so gung-ho to saw off heads of those who didn't want to pay the jizya tax after sacred months had passed. And I felt that if I could get through, well, I felt that if I could get enough Muslims to doubt Islam, maybe the weakness of Islam and how to destroy it would spread like a viral joke on the internet and go into different languages to the point where it might then help buy the world enough time to not only take the fire out of Muslims when Sharia is imposed, but possibly take it further, actually winning the war on terror. That maybe Sharia would never be imposed on another poor soul ever again. But I screwed up. I found a spunky Christian lady on YouTube named Hannah Reinhardt, who was excellent at exposing Islam, or so I thought. So ballsy was she that she burned the evil parts of the Quran on video and gave her name and address to show she wasn't fearful of Muslims, that she was a warrior for the truth, and was ready to be a martyr for exposing true Islam. Well, it turned out that she was working for the Muslims. She was being paid a lot of money to act like she was anti-Islam, all the while being paid by a mosque in her area to give her real name and address as a way to coax others into being brave enough to do the same. In solidarity against Islam. I didn't know at the time, but it was kind of Muslim chess. It was a kind of Muslim chess game of sacrificing certain pieces of certain pieces to rout and checkmate a king. In this case, the burning of certain scriptures of the Quran to set up a trap on those who expose Islam on the internet. Kind of like Obama killing terrorist Muslims in Pakistan as a way to make it look like he wasn't associated with Al-Qaeda, as he put Al-Qaeda in power by overthrowing dictators. Well, as I said, I was one of those who fell into this Muslim trap, for I was one of those who gave my name. However, I spent enough time on studying that flash drive to not give my address. And when many anti-Islam people on the internet quit using their handles, but started using their names and trying to be as brave as Hannah Reinhardt was, well, that was when they suddenly fell silent, as if they were all gone in one big swoop. I believe they were killed or arrested by our government, who, as you know, is getting a lot of money from Saudi Arabia. About that time, everyone was falling silent. I started getting death threats over the phone telling me that if I didn't pull off my videos that questioned Islam, that I could expect to have Allahu Akbar screamed in my ears, which I took as code as having my head sawed off. Well, when my car was firebombed, I knew it was over for me. I had to radically change my life. I had to quit my teaching job and separate from my wife and kids, fearing that my house may be firebombed next. You see, even though I didn't give my address, well, how many Daniel Kobashis are out there teaching high school science, which lets them know that was what I was doing in one of my videos? It was easy for them to find and start threatening and attacking me. Man, what a nightmare. How did you find out that a mosque was paying this lady? Asked Sally. Dan thought for a while and said, well, I'm not 100% sure, but it just seems strange that after everyone fell silent, Reinhardt made a video that attacked the notion of the Trinity. True Christians believe in the Trinity, and here she started preaching a Muslim point of view. Also, she's still alive, yet never attacks Islam now. So that's why I think she was being paid to give her name and address right after burning evil parts of the Quran. One giveaway for me that she wasn't totally serious is that when she exposed how Quran 434 allows men to beat their wives, she totally skipped the fact that in Quran 434, a man is able to beat his wife if he just fears rebellion from her. That she can be totally innocent and is allowed to be beaten if her husband is crazy and fears rebellion from her. Said Sally, as in thought. From what you described earlier, sounds like your boyfriend will become Muslim with ease when Islam takes over, said Daniel. You mean if, don't you? Asked Sally. If? Asked Daniel. It is taking power. It is taking over. As the days pass, the more I think, what I'm doing is in vain. So you're married? Asked Sally. Yes, I guess you could say that flash drive in your hand not only made it so my life is now iffy, it also destroyed my marriage. I'm still married to a fine woman and have great kids, but as a long distance trucker making trucker money, it's as if my wife and kids were taken from me. I had to get into trucking though, because if I'm in one place, I'm like a sitting duck, and again, who knows what they might use next. My family could be in the crosshairs if they tried to take me out. I feel they will be safe with me being out of their life, and instead being on the road. They are angry with me, but I thought, well, hey, if everyone resorted to dimitude and tried not to expose the real Islam Muslims fight tooth and nail to hide, then there is no hope for our world whatsoever. So you could say I have mixed feelings here. I'm safe for being a trucker. However, today the Muslims almost got me, and this isn't the first time. I doubt it will be the last. I think I'll end it here.